Welcome back to The Lawyer You Know, and today we're going to hit on a case we haven't talked about yet to see if it piques your interest and to see if you want to hear more about this case. Because when you subscribe to our channel and you like a video, we know that that's the content you're interested in, and if it's a case you're interested in, I'm going to dive in, I'm going to dig in and unpack the facts and legal angles about the case, give you a lawyer's insight on that case, and answer your questions about that case. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the victims' families of the Sandy Hook shooting suing the rifle company. So if that is a case you're interested in, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to our page so you can be involved in future discussions talking about this case, which was in the news recently because a $33 million offer has been made by the rifle company to the families. And that's big, because throughout the entirety of this case, the rifle company is denying any wrongdoing, denying any liability, and hiding behind federal protections. In today's video, I'm not going to break down whether or not I think the rifle company is actually liable, and if there is an actual legal cause of action I think the families can be successful on, because that's a big breakdown. And I only want to do it if you guys are interested in it. So if you are, make sure you comment the gun emoji below, the little green squirt gun. Comment that emoji below, and if we get enough of those, I'll do another video breaking down the liability. But on today's video, I'm going to talk about that settlement offer and what it really means. And then I'm going to talk about discovery, which can be kind of a boring topic in the law, but not in this case. It highlights a major problem in our society, in our legal system, which is why these cases get so delayed. And the courts and the legislature seem to be doing something about it finally. And I want to get your take on whether or not you think it's fair. So first, this $33 million settlement offer. $33 million is a lot of money. Nothing to sneeze at, but not when you consider the damages in this case. The families were looking for more like $225 million for the wrongful death and expected a punitive damages verdict in excess of $1 billion with a B. Okay, and those punitive damages are to punish this rifle company. That's what they're expecting a jury to give them. So why is it that we're seeing they are actually considering this $33 million offer? Well, when you get an offer in a personal injury or wrongful death case, you have to consider it, especially when the defendant is bankrupt. Okay, the old saying is true, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. We've talked about these types of cases with Tom Girardi. Once a defendant files for bankruptcy, many times the case is stayed, meaning nothing can happen, like the Lori Vallow case, or they can go to court, go to trial, lose, and never pay a dime because they are technically bankrupt, and you've got to get in line with all the other creditors that these big companies owe money to. So when they put real money on the table, you have to consider that as the victims' families and as the lawyer representing them. There are 9 families, so it comes out to about $3.6 or $3.7 million per family, which is not enough money to cover those damages, but it is still a lot of money. In some cases, it's not about the money. Right? Now, many times people want to go after, they call us, they want to sue an individual or sue a company that's bankrupt when we know there's never going to be money collected. And it depends on whether they want to spend money paying a lawyer on that, or we want to invest our time and money in fighting a case that we know at the end is not going to be collectible. It's a very difficult situation, especially with so many uninsured drivers in our state here in Florida. So it's a decision everybody's got to make. They decided to continue to fight this for 7 years, and finally some money is put on the table. But not every case is just about the money. In fact, most cases are not. This one in particular is about societal change. That's what the victims' families are after. That's what they've continued to pursue throughout this case. They want people to know what these gun companies are doing, how they're advertising, how they're marketing, and what they're doing to cause these problems, not just sell a product to bad people, right? So that's what the families really want. They want to cause this societal change. They want to change these federal laws that protect gun companies. So it's not always about the money. So why would the gun company make an offer at this point? Especially an offer, a pretty large offer of $33 million from a bankrupt company? Well, the big fight has been over some internal documents and discovery. We're going to get into legalese here, discovery. The documents and questions that have to be answered by each party and produced by each party is discovery. And the families are saying they are not getting the discovery they're entitled to. They keep filing motions. They've been fighting this for years. They're trying to get the internal documents about how this gun company talked about who they're going to target to sell these guns to, and they don't care what happens whenever that person does get these guns. They're going to connect it to video games. They're going to connect it to violent people. They want the country and society as a whole to see this. And the rifle company doesn't, because even though they're bankrupt, they don't want to be demonized in the media. So they decide to make an offer. And I'm intimating this is the reason they're making this offer, is to protect those documents. Because recently, this case has gotten a lot of news attention and media attention because of some of the discovery the defense turned over. And no, it's not a smoking gun, no pun intended. It's not an internal email that says exactly what we're looking for. Instead, it is totally irrelevant and offensive discovery that makes this case seem like a joke. After years of the plaintiffs and the victims' families fighting to get these documents, they finally win and the defendant finally has to turn it over. And what do they turn over? But thousands and thousands of GIFs and cartoons and pictures that make no sense for what the families were asking for. I'm going to tell you what the plaintiffs and victims' lawyers say about this discovery. Having repeatedly represented to these families and this court that it was devoting extensive resources to making what it described as substantial document productions, the gun company has instead made the plaintiffs wait for years to receive cartoon images, gender reveal videos, and duplicate copies of catalogs. There is no possible reasonable explanation for this conduct. So they're angry about these thousands of irrelevant documents that have been produced in discovery. And when it comes to tactics like this from defense attorneys and big companies that are being sued, it is not just specific to this case. This is commonplace across our country and across every state, including the state of Florida. I can't tell you how many times we've had to fight and file motions and have hearings and drive to court and argue in front of a judge and have those motions appealed once we've won before the defense just turns over documents that they then object to, or produce the documents that are not even responsive to what we're asking, or like in this case, produce thousands of documents and hide what we're actually asking for in those stacks of documents. This is commonplace, and in my opinion as a plaintiff's lawyer, it's horrible. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is just fair gamesmanship, or do you think it's totally wrong and goes against the rules? Because the courts in Florida and the legislature seem to be cracking down on it. I'm on the Florida Civil Rules Committee. I help write these rules and comment on these rules. And the Florida Supreme Court put a work group together to change this activity. They have brought a heavy hand of sanctions against this type of action, and not just against defense attorneys, because some plaintiffs' lawyers do it too. So any lawyer that has a discovery violation, or that delays discovery, or uses discovery to delay a client's case, because let's think about it. These victims' families are hanging in the balance for years while attorneys play games to delay the case and try to use the rules to their advantage. And to me, that is totally unacceptable and totally unfair. So now the rules read literally, for this type of action, the court can not only sanction monetarily, meaning fine, the parties in the case, meaning the defendant or the plaintiff, but also the lawyers. And it's not just money. They can be reprimanded. They can have trial strategy taken away from them. They can have documents stricken. They can have defenses stricken so they can't even use them at trial. It's a heavy hand of sanctions coming down to fight against this exact activity. Yet in some of the biggest cases worldwide, it is still taking place. And plaintiffs' lawyers just have to continue to fight and continue that battle, because this is something we face in every case. Our clients want to move the case quickly. We want to move the case quickly. Usually the defense wants to delay the case, and that's exactly what's happening in this case. And so the plaintiff's lawyer has stuck to his guns, no pun intended again, and said they are full steam ahead going towards trial. And he said this offer, and I'll read it to you. One glaring inadequacy about this offer, among many, is that it doesn't contain a provision for full access to all documents. So it sounds like the plaintiffs would consider a number around $33 million, again, because it's not all about the money to them, if they could also get all the internal documents and turn them over to the public so society can see this problem and society can make the change these victims' families think are necessary. Let me know in the comments, do you think the defense will turn over all the documents and pay $33 million? Because they wouldn't have to pay $1 billion. They wouldn't have to go through the trial. They wouldn't have to have all this media attention. Do you think they'd do that? Let me know what you think. Or is this offer to bypass any production of any document that's relevant and that could make them look bad in the media, in the public, and in society. Because that's why I think they're making this offer. They're trying to hide something, I think. Usually that's what defendants are doing when they make an offer. They never agree to any liability. They never agree to any wrongdoing. Many times in releases, they say this is a disputed and even questionable claim at that. Yet they're going to offer $33 million. I want to know what you guys think about how discovery works in our world, in our nation, in our state. Let me know how these settlement offers and these releases, let me know what you think. Do you think it's fair to keep everything confidential? Because sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes we have to do that because it's the best result for the client. But hiding documents is not always fair to society, and it affects that societal change that so many victims are looking for when they file that lawsuit and they're called money hungry and they're called vampires and blood sucking and just trying to go after that money and that fame. A lot of times they're going after that societal change, but it just can't happen because of situations like this. So let me know what you think about this case. Let me know if you want to hear more by putting that gun emoji in the comments, and I'll break down exactly where the liability may be coming from this rifle company, since they're not the one that pulled the trigger, as they like to say, and I'll break that down further if you guys have interest, if you like this video, and if you subscribe to our page. But for now, that's all we've got, and we'll be back with you next time. Thanks for watching this episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you like this content, please share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our page and like our videos. If you want some interaction, get in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to know any more information about our firm or this page, you can find out in the description or visit tragoslaw.com. We post multiple times throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell so you can get the notification and not miss out on the next episode.